Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. So, I've got a story I want to go more in depth with. We talked a little bit about this morning during our update video regarding the Russia Ukraine war. We're going to be discussing a story regarding the Polish Prime Minister. His name is Donald Tusk. That's him right there in the photo on the right side of your screen in the suit. And he's shaking hands with Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. So, just today, they held a conference in Warsaw. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky traveled over there to meet with him. They discussed this war, lots of different topics regarding it, and also a new aid package going to Ukraine from Poland announced today from the Prime Minister. And while he was speaking up on stage, the Prime Minister stated that he was accusing Russia of planning terrorist acts on airliners. Okay, that kind of just came out of nowhere during this conference. I can actually show you guys the video footage here in just a minute. But I also have on the screen, it says Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk accused Russia on Wednesday of orchestrating global acts of sabotage, including acts of air terror targeting airlines during the conference with Zelensky. Okay, so he's coming out and saying that Russia was planning some sort of air or terrorist attacks on airlines. And this is a pretty crazy thing to accuse Russia on. I mean, it's something that's been talked about in the mainstream news for the last few months. I actually have a few articles I can show you guys, like this one right here. Russia behind plot to plant bombs on cargo planes, Western official says. And it says the case is the latest example of a wider Russian sabotage campaign to disrupt Western support for Ukraine, officials say. And this actually came out November 4th, 2024. Okay, so just a couple months back is when this report was being released. So we were starting to hear that, Russia may be trying to plan to, plant some sort of incendiary devices on aircraft, cargo airplane that maybe could be transporting equipment over to Poland and then eventually over to Ukraine, because we know the West supplies a lot of, military hardware for the Ukrainians. And then soon after that, about like 3 weeks later, we had this other report. This was actually on AP, and it says DHL cargo plane crashes and skids into a house in Lithuania, killing a Spanish crew member. So DHL was actually one of the cargo plane companies that was talking about, these attacks. They were finding these incendiary devices or some sort of packages that were mysteriously catching on fire or exploding prior to getting on some of their aircraft. And then again, 3 weeks later, we had a DHL cargo plane crashing in Lithuania. Supposedly it had caught on fire and crashed into somebody's house over here. And you can see this came out on November 25th. So roughly about like 3 weeks later was when this came out. And I actually covered both of these stories at the time when they were being announced. So, I mean, this whole idea of Russia trying to take down airlines, it's been something that's been talked about for several months now. So I want to talk about this a little bit more and show you guys the video footage of him discussing this. So let's hop on over here to a mainstream news report real quick from Politico. Russia plotted terror attacks on airlines around the world, Poland's Tusk says. Polish Prime Minister makes bombshell accusation against Moscow. Here's a picture of Donald Tusk right here. And it says, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk on Wednesday accused Russia of planning a major terrorist campaign against aircraft. I can only confirm that Russia planned acts of air terror, not just against Poland, but against airlines across the globe. Okay, so he's talking about all over the world, okay? Probably not even just Europe, maybe anywhere, maybe in Asia, maybe in the United States, who knows where, right? And it says, said Tusk during a meeting with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky. The New York Times reported in recent days that U.S. intelligence warned the White House that Russia was planning to smuggle incendiary devices onto cargo planes heading to the U.S. The White House, according to the Times, warned the Kremlin to stop the operation. Tusk did not immediately elaborate on his remark about Russian terror attacks on aircraft. Moscow has been previously accused of sabotaging European transport infrastructure and jamming GPS signals by several countries as part of a campaign of hybrid warfare by Russian leader Vladimir Putin against the continent. Okay, so, definitely, it's something we've been talking about quite a bit recently in regards to like sabotage events, hybrid warfare, whatever you want to call it. There's been these cables over in the Baltic Sea and the Gulf of Finland that have been cut, supposedly coming from Russia's shadow fleet of tanker vessels that are used to transport oil. They've been dragging their anchors or whatever it might be, trying to destroy these cables. We've been hearing so much in terms of hybrid attacks or acts of terror, whatever you want to call it. Now we have the prime minister coming out and officially accusing Russia from this conference that they were trying to create some sort of terror acts on airliners around the world. Okay, so let's go jump on over to X now. Let me show you this report here from Anton Gerashenko. Russia was planning terrorist acts against airlines all over the world, says Prime Minister of Poland Donald Tusk. Some acts of sabotage or preparations for diversion were very dramatic. I will not go into details about this latest information, but I can confirm the validity of these fears. That Russia was planning acts of terror, and not only against Poland, but against airlines all over the world, Donald Tusk told reporters. During a meeting with President Zelensky, Donald Tusk told journalists that Poland plays a key role in Europe in counteracting acts of sabotage and diversion, which Russia organizes against the entire civilized world. So we've got a 1-minute clip of him speaking, and it will have subtitles at the bottom of the screen in English for you. So go ahead and take a look at what he has to say.
Wczoraj rozmawiałem z liderami państw, które są jednoznacznie zaangażowane po stronie Ukrainy, między innymi o bezpieczeństwie na Bałtyku, o wspólnych działaniach przeciwko rosyjskim aktom sabotażu. Myślę, że to jest także ważne dla Ukrainy. Te akty sabotażu, różne wersje wojny, jaką Rosja wypowiedziała całemu cywilizowanemu światu, nie tylko Ukrainie. One wymagają też wspólnych działań i tutaj Polska odgrywa kluczową rolę w Europie w kontrakcjach wobec aktów sabotażu i dywersji, które organizuje nie tylko na polskim terenie Rosja. Niektóre akty sabotażu czy przygotowania do dywersji miały charakter bardzo dramatyczny. Te ostatnie informacje mogę tylko, nie będę wchodził w szczegóły, ale potwierdzić zasadność tych obaw, że Rosja planowała także akty terroru powietrznego i to nie tylko wobec Polski, ale wobec linii lotniczych na całym świecie. Wczoraj rozmawiałem z liderami.
All right, so a pretty crazy accusation for him to come out and say this, but maybe not completely far-fetched, right? I mean, again, there's been so many attacks that have been reported, like in the Baltic Sea with these cables being cut, then this DHL cargo plane going down. So something that I was thinking about was like, you know, what is NATO going to do at some point? How far will this go if this really is Russia doing this? We don't know 110%. There's lots of claims coming out like this stating that it is Russia doing these types of things, like bringing down that DHL cargo plane. And if it is Russia, at what point, you know, does NATO actually respond to this, and will they respond militarily? What's going to happen here? But this is a pretty major claim coming out from Donald Tusk today, and I just wanted to share this with you and let you know what he claimed here at this conference and actually show you the video footage of him stating this. So again, pretty crazy statement coming out from him today, but I'm curious to know what you're all thinking about this. Do you think this is Russia doing these things, and do you think that Russia's still planning more sabotage events or acts of terror, whatever you want to call it? If so, how is NATO going to respond to this at some point in the future? That's the big question. Let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.